Welcome to the campus of Conroe High School and the gymnasium simply known as the Pit. We're here for the championship game of the 49th annual Conroe Christmas Classic between two District 13 5A and Spring ISD rivals, the Spring Lions and the Westfield Mustangs. Westfield has experience, with 4 seniors starting today from last season's championship team, while the Lions likewise start 4 returning from their runner-up finish in 2013. These two teams will meet again in just 10 days, and neither wants to show too much to tip off their hand before a key district contest that will impact playoff chances. But this is the championship game, and neither wants to settle for runner-up hardware. These two teams looked a bit like heavyweight boxers for the first 5 minutes, feeling one another out, not wanting to show much on offense. But defense, that was another story, as Trevian Johnson reaches high to stop DeVore Sharp on the baseline. Then Johnson said, "I told you, not in my space," as he comes from nowhere to block Chad Owens. Oh, mercy. The first field goal came off a second chance two-handed tip by Fred Harrell, 4 minutes into the game. Almost 2 minutes later, the second field goal was scored when Tyson Wright got separation under the basket and put the Lions up 5-4. The Mustangs' first bucket came with 2 minutes left in the period, as Deion Sidney was left alone in the corner and nailed a 3. The Lions dominated the inside game as Trevian Johnson scored on successive attempts deep in the lane, culminating with this strong offensive rebound and putback. The Lions held a 3-point margin after 1 period, but the second quarter looked a lot like two heavyweights just slugging it out in the middle of the ring, hoping for a knockout. Chad Owens opened the outside game with this 3 from the wing. Then Jeremiah Bethea cleaned the offensive glass to give the Mustangs the lead. Eric Sloan then answered back with this running jumper to tie the game at 15. Fred Harrell maneuvered for room and stepped past DeVore Sharp for the bucket. Jared Richardson responded with this nice drive, using his body to shield Harrell, and the Stangs led by 3. Tyson Wright then worked over Chad Owens in the low post and netted 2 more. And when Trevian Robertson steals Richardson's pass, he takes it all the way in for a 24-23 lead. Next possession, Richardson missed the jumper, but gets his own rebound and hits it off the glass, and Westfield goes up by 1. Then Harrell sees an opening in transition and puts the Lions back into the lead. That is until Richardson beats Robertson to the hoop and regains the lead for Westfield. For a while, until DeAndre Wigfall beat him to the baseline, and the Lions are up 28-27. And Deion Sidney put the wraps on the first half scoring with this transition bucket, and the Lions head to the locker room down by just 2. In the third period, the Lions looked out of gas as they scored just 1 field goal, while the Mustangs capitalized on this Bethea block that started the break and ended with this Chad Owens putback. Then Sidney stripped the ball in the paint for a stopper, then got it back on a no-look pass from Richardson and takes it to the glass for 2 more of his 11 points. But the Lions again started slow, getting their first field goal 4 minutes into the period, when Blaine Williams canned a 3 to pull within 6. And that would be their only goal of the third quarter. But Owens was left alone in the corner and ripped the nets for 3 to answer, and the Mustangs were up by 11. When the dust settled, Westfield had opened a 12-point lead heading into the final period. By this time, the Lions were out of gas as Sidney hits a pull-up J from the lane. Then Bravian Roy gets open underneath, and Johnson found him for an easy bucket. But by the time A.J. James came off the bench and got this nice bucket, the Mustangs had locked up the game with a 17-point lead with just 2:30 to go. Eric Boulding's block started yet another break, and Marquise Hamilton was on the receiving end of the outlet and put it away as the Mustangs cruised to a 21-point victory over rival Spring, and with it took the championship of the 49th annual Conroe Christmas Classic.
I think the biggest difference between the first half and the second, we didn't give up as many rebounds, offensive rebounds. Well, our team chemistry is pretty good. You hear the term buy-in. I don't know if there's been a lot of buy-in, but guys aren't worried about their playing time. They're not worried about their points. I think the one thing is I think it's all about winning. At least that's how I am, and I think the kids that we got know that. We're not going to put anybody above the team.